Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, the Democrat majority has been in control of this House now for about 4 months, and they made a lot of commitments to the American people during the campaign just passed. And I thought tonight I would give a report on the success of their agenda. They had 6 bills that they said they wanted to pass in the first 100 days or first 100 hours to get moving, and I'd like to go through those bills one at a time. H.R. 1, the first bill they introduced, implementing the 9/11 Commission Recommendations Act of 2007, is stalled. The Fair Minimum Wage Act of 2007 is stalled. The Stem Cell Research Enhancement Act of 2007, stalled. H.R. 4, the Medicare Prescription Drug Price Negotiation Act of 2007, stalled. H.R. 5, the College Student Relief Act of 2007, stalled. And the Clean Energy Act of 2007, still stalled. They have control of both houses of the Congress, and these bills have not yet reached the President's desk, although they pledged to get these things done as quickly as possible after the election. They have passed only 17 bills into law. 10 of those bills name federal post offices and federal buildings. None of the legislative impact on fighting the war against Islamic extremists, balancing the federal budget, creating jobs, cutting pork barrel spending, or saving Social Security have been addressed or passed. They have passed a budget, and the budget that they passed assumes that the President's tax cuts, which we passed early in the Bush administration that led to our economic recovery and low interest rates and low unemployment and low inflation, they want to do away with those tax cuts, and those tax cuts, in effect, will amount to a $392.5 billion additional tax burden on the American people. The Democrats' budget also includes an immediate $24 billion increase in non-defense, non-security spending above the President's request. This is on top of the $23 billion of unrequested spending in the supplemental and $6 billion in the omnibus spending bill. In addition, the Democrat budget includes 12 reserve funds promising more than $115 billion in higher spending, which, if offset, as required by the House rules, would almost surely mean another $115 billion in higher taxes. This would be on top of the $392.5 billion in tax increases they've already built into their revenue numbers. The average taxpayer in Indiana, if this budget were to pass, would be saddled with $2,729 in additional taxes, and more than 2,300,000 Hoosiers would be affected just this year under the Democrat budget. Now I want to talk a little bit about the Democrat Iraq supplemental. That was for the defense of this country and for supplementing our troops and giving them the equipment and the support that they need to fight the war in Iraq and to fight around the world in places like the Balkans and in Afghanistan. The Democrat supplemental legislates defeat and funds favors at troop expense. Let me just tell you what's in this bill. It's supposed to be for our troops and for the defense of the nation. But in that bill, they've added $120 million for the shrimp industry. Has nothing to do with defense. $74 million to store peanuts. Has nothing to do with defense. $25 million for growing spinach, which has nothing to do with defense. And $5 million for aquaculture, or to put it in a less fancy term, it's tropical fish. $5 million for research on tropical fish. These are things that shouldn't be in the defense supplemental, and yet my colleagues on the other side of the aisle put them in that bill. I think the American people need to know that while they made these commitments during the campaign, they have not fulfilled those commitments, and this is a report card on the first 4 months of their reign in this House. I will try to, in every 3 or 4 month period, give another report on the progress of the Democrats' agenda, and I hope it's a lot better than this one has been. And with that, I yield back the balance of my time.